1. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's your favorite cat ear extraordinaire, and it's time for another episode of the Yoko Masaki Show, or podcast. Still, the name is a little bit weird about that. Today, as you guys haven't known about today, I said today we were going to do a little test run for the episode. So this is technically not even episode 1. This is episode 1.1, 0.1 if anything. Because today I wanted to, we do have a few topics today. A few topics will be discussed today on this podcast. But I wanted this more to be still an introduction on the show. Now, if you already haven't heard from the last episode or the preview prologue of the last podcast, I have mentioned before of what the basis of the show is going to be. And I also have mentioned to you many times, or mentioned in the podcast, the last podcast episode, of what the status of the show is going to be. And the mistakes I've made with the show, whether it was working by myself or doing with someone else that turned out to not be somewhat of a trustworthy person. And then there was the basis of me doing a podcast in a whole different terrain. And it took me a long while, along with years and months of knowing what to do and learning from other people. You've seen probably in my Instagram also, I posted about many of the people who inspired me to get back into doing this, because let's face it, YouTube has been changing a lot and it's not been doing well for me, which is why I apologize for many of my YouTube fans who haven't seen a lot of material from me lately, because it's not always easy to plot out a video or even a video on YouTube, and it's hard enough to work with other people in that case of it. So when it comes to doing this podcast, the second thing I know I needed to change is I needed to bring somebody in with me who's more trustworthy. And this person that is on the show with me tonight is someone who I have the utmost trust and respect with. He's been a friend of mine for more than 5-6 years. I think it's been 5-6 years we've been friends. This guy's had my back for a long time. I've gone through a lot of dark moments, and he's pulled me out of, and there are still moments and times where he still has to pull me out of it, whether it's twisting my arm. Many of you who've gone to many of the conventions in the East Coast probably seen his amazing cosplay himself and his LED work. He's done photography himself. This guy has been he's really one of my most really talented friend of mine that I could go on about how much about it. I will consider him my light-skinned brother, because he, like I said, he's got me through a lot of stuff about it, and no matter what has changed about it, him, along with only a few other people I've trusted in this case of it, but those other people have been trustworthy. It's just they've been super busy. And today is the 16th of March, 2017, and by the time this episode is up, I know I have a few of those trustworthy friends I've mentioned before who have, they're probably out right now going to Goth Night in Bowling Green. Unfortunately, I won't be there. So I want to give a personal shout out to all of my iNation friends. But enough about that. Ladies and gentlemen, my good friend Marc Altimus.
Hey, how's it going?
So Marc, if you don't mind, just give them a small synopsis of who you are in some cases, so that way they'll get to know you better, since you will be my co-host in this future endeavor of a podcast.
Awesome. Thank you. Well, I'm a nerd. Plain and simple. I do like a crap ton of things in the nerd realm and the geek realm and things like that. I love making props. I've been going to conventions for well over, it's been almost about 10 years. So I've been going to a whole bunch of conventions here and there and everywhere. I'm super extrovert. If people who don't know me, I basically will talk your ear off if you let me. Just ask anybody who knows me. I love to chat everybody's ears off when I run around and find something that I'm really excited about. But yeah, I love making props. I love working with LEDs, lighting things up, things of that nature. Got several projects in the works right now, and if you'll go to ColossicCon, you'll be able to see one of them. It's Undyne Spear. I'm making a clear plastic light-up version of it. It's going to be lighting up blue. It's going to look really cool. But I've been a gamer since I've been in diapers. My parents would, they had the first system, still have an Atari 2600 that works. And ultimately, that's where my nerd comes from, is going to be gaming. That's my biggest and my deepest history, I should say, about me is gaming. Been with Nintendo since they've essentially started. And yeah, gaming is one of my favorite things to do, and one of my hobbies that I love to do in between all the busyness and all the working and things too. So, yeah, that's about it.
Well,
I got a lot of facets, but
Yeah, there's a lot of it on the case of it. I believe within those 5 to 6 years we've known each other, the first time I met Mark, he was working one of his cosplays. I believe the first time I met him, he had worked on his very own version of a dead mouse head. For those who know about dead mouse and his very famous prosthetic heads that he's worn to display, some with LED and some that are very unique of their assay of it. In fact, I actually know one of the designers who worked with one of Dead Mouse's, Joel's real works. He's one of the good friends of mine. But the first time I met Mark of it was he had a real working one, built-in speakers, radios, lights, LEDs, the whole thing. So when Mark says he loves his props, trust me, he puts a lot of endeavor into it. And he's come a long way from some of the rough-looking parts to some of the better work that he's worked on. The second
that one was actually the first endeavor that I had into LEDs was that mouse head.
That mouse head was, I figured it was your first project. Which,
that was my first foray into electronics and messing around with them and LED-ifying it.
Yeah.
I got inspired by one of the videos that he had online on YouTube, that he actually had the mouse head that made the eyes light up with the music, with the beat. Mm-hmm. I'm like, I want to make that.
Yeah. Yeah, and you've come a long way from that now, and from to even doing simpler stuff. You probably, for the couple of years at ColossicCon, you've probably seen him in his amazing cosplay of Dr. Horrible from the Dr. Horrible sing-along blog. He also has done a very humorous endeavor of the famous Lonely Island's Dick in a Box, which has been pretty much a good hit still. The most memorable moment I remember of that cosplay was, I believe, 3 years ago at OhioCon, I believe it was, 3 or 4 years ago. It was a bigger hit than I expected it to be.
You and me both.
Yeah, it came to the point where
everybody had at least one reaction.
Yes, one reaction to it.
Whether it was laughter or whether it was a delay between the two.
Yeah. To understand the joke of it, it was a very different Dick in the Box per se, if you will. But yeah, aside from his talent at working that case, he's even helped me from times. Many of you people may be familiar with my newest cosplay, which, as of this moment, unfortunately, it's in retirement as of right now, due to some tears in the fabric and such. But some of the props that was made for that costume was done by this gentleman. So you definitely can see why I've kept in touch with him, aside from his aesthetic of his abilities, comparing my own. In fact, he was one of the many people who also had dabbled into photography before I decided to make a commitment of my career within it. I would see pictures of his stuff in DeviantArt from his trips from other countries and even from his backyard of photography that he did for a while before he would pass along to something else in his talent. So
I tend to bounce.
Yeah. It was, but still, I mean, you were still a footnote into me deciding to do photography, because I started doing scenery stuff earlier on too, before it got straight to modeling and cosplay work.
Yeah.
So, trust me, a lot of people are still telling me now, you should go back to that. I'm like, I do. I want to find that. It's just, sometimes it's hard to look for a good scenery to shoot at that case of it.
Yeah.
And it
good
sometimes
composition
depends on
is sometimes hard, especially if you want to keep a lot of the man-made things out.
Yes. And like when I first went to Cleveland I went to Cleveland when I went with a couple of friends to Wizard World in Columbus. I had taken the bus to the RTA station downtown. I'd never have been there. I never knew about this building. I never knew about the bus station. I stayed there and slept for a few hours. But the area during the night in the rain was just something copacetic about it. So I had to record and take pictures of that whole area. And I just pretty much spent my hours taking pictures around the whole area before I posted them up, all the way till the daytime. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is why it has to grow into me to get that feel. The same can be said when it comes to my other photography. So when it comes to even the concepts works that I do in my photography, it's that same point. So it
usually just takes a little bit of time to get back into it and
find
the right area that you want to go into.
Oh yeah. And
that's one of the biggest things, is that I still don't think myself as all that great, and it's like, I've been working at this for a while.
Mm-hmm. The same with me. That's why I was like, I've gotten down to a niche of it where people, trust me, I could go on stories about my photography, but we'll save that for another episode, because I can go on about it, and this gentleman, and Mark knows about it as well, but for people out there at home listening, probably don't know about it, but trust me, it's there. A lot of people have stated or have not known about the fact that, it's out there. He don't know how popular he is, and believe me, I can
got some good publications recently.
Yeah, exactly. And I will get to that in a little bit, so probably we'll get to that for the announcements within the show. But one of the topics I will talk about is the fact that this is, I think this will be our 7th or 8th time that we'll be running into each other at Colossicon this year. Yeah. Because for those out there who don't know, familiar with Colossicon, it is a convention that is in the Sandusky area of Ohio. It's not that far from the famous Cedar Point theme park. It is located at the Kalahari Resorts and Waterfall and Resorts and indoor water park, and that's what it's mostly popular for. I actually 2 or 3 days ago, one of the locations, I believe there's one in Pittsburgh that got popular because of it, and they were saying that their Pittsburgh location and their Sandusky location are the highest paid and visited locations in the world.
Well, they're also trying to advertise Colossicon East, I believe, in the Pittsburgh location.
Which makes sense, because it's the same location,
starting to get the popularity in it.
Yeah,
I did want to check that out, but I haven't had the chance to.
Yeah, and I'm considering the same way too, Colossicon East on that. I'm only hoping that it won't overshadow our Colossicon.
Oh, it won't.
Yeah, because
just based on how much parking there wasn't. Like, we're talking about a giant water park with literally parking all the way around.
Yeah.
It was packed.
Yeah.
They literally had to park in the grass.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of disappointed at that, because they haven't really expanded.
No.
Because we've been there since they had, it was before the recent add-on.
Yeah.
And it was before that when they had the actual, those set up, basically those, what was it? It was like a dance floor type thing.
Yeah.
That they had set up past the doors.
Yeah.
I remember when it was tiny.
Yeah.
And it was nice. And in this point in my life, I actually do appreciate and like the smaller conventions a lot better.
Oh, yeah.
Because there's room to park. There's room to, hang out. You can actually talk to people, and it's a lot more personable, I believe.
And honestly,
so I'm kind of disappointed in the way that it's gone, where they haven't set a cap yet, because it's literally overfilled. I kind of am dreading to see what parking lot's going to look like this year.
Yeah, I'm after the success of I saw how it was last year, that too, because on my end of it's based on the company who comes in it. And like I said to many people before, I'm like, we had two people nobody even knew about, two cosplayers, well known, who came to this con, and and nobody even knew that they were there. And there were Stella Chu and my friend Zombie Bit Me, who both will be attending at this year's Colossal. I have already known that.
Advertised that.
And while Zombie Bit Me is known in some cases in the Ontario area, it wasn't until she knew about the water park of the indoor area. But she and Stella had known about the indoor water park, and that was what sealed the deal. And then next thing you know, Bindi Smalls came. Ireland Red was there, I believe. There are several others who are planning on coming too. One of my a cosplayer named Awakened, she will be attending. I'm hearing word that a couple others are coming. But the biggest news, for those out there who have not known yet, there is I can give a small confirmation. I gave this out to a few of my friends, but I can give a small confirmation that the great Jessica Negri has been noting that she will be attending ColossaCon. She gave a small hint on that on her Twitter.
And I think it was confirmed on the ColossaCon page too.
Yeah, well, literally on the tweet it says, ColossaCon, going to ColossaCon means BikiniCon, half the tone up before the summer. And literally she posted a gif of Pikachu pressing weights from the classic Pokemon series. The moment I saw that, I started turning pale. But it was a good thing. So, and for you people even at home, the last time I saw Miss Negri was at New York Comic Con, and I agree completely with you, Mark, on that, because that is exactly one of the reasons why ColossaCon will forever be the number one con for me in the case of it. More socialization, less rush hour.
Right, because you literally have no places to go.
Yes, and there's not much there's a lot you can do at ColossaCon compared to New York Comic Con. I went to New York Comic Con for 2 days. Didn't get to all experience. While it was still amazing, there was still so much I wasn't able to experience. For example, a lot of you people out there at home know that one of my favorite YouTubers is Andre Meadows of the YouTube comedy channel Black Nerd Comedy. He's one of my favorite YouTubers ever. He knows about the nostalgic at the time. I'm pretty sure he's around my age. He and we talk about the same nostalgic things. For example, when I mentioned him in one of my earlier YouTube videos, I mentioned about a cartoon called Silverhawks. Not many people know about that cartoon.
Oh, that's old, man.
Yeah, that's old. He mentioned to me, he commented on my Twitter, on my page, telling me he used to own a notebook of Silverhawks. That right there, ladies and gentlemen, that's why he is my favorite YouTuber. He was at New York Comic Con the same year I was there. He was actually hosting a panel for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the Nickelodeon cartoon remake that's currently on air now, which he does reviews for every episodes for the show on his channel. I did not know of his appearance there until after it was notified that he left the con. I was not able to see him. I missed out completely on that. You don't know how much my heart sank after finding that out. That was one of my goals at the con. Meet the cosplayers, meet Black Nerd Comedy, and at the same time just make networking. But he was one of the people I wanted to meet, and I didn't get a chance to see him. He's gone to New York Comic Con every year, but there have been times he has mentioned he doesn't know if he'll be there every year, and I take that into consideration when he's like, he does not sure. Some of the smaller cons he has gone to, like Too Many Games, which is another con I want to go to, Dragon Con, MagFest, I've heard he's gone to a couple times, Retro Palooza, I know he's gone to every year. So there have been a few cons over in the West and the South area that he's gone to more than the East Coast cons. So to have him at an East Coast convention is very, very rare. And New York Comic Con is the only one I've known that he's had that history with. Another person at New York Comic Con who was there at New York Comic Con that I wanted to hopefully meet, but when I found out that he was there, but he was only there for a limited engagement, it kind of made sense. And that was Kevin Smith. And as I mentioned before, many people know I'm a big Kevin Smith fan. I love his shows, his movies. I have his books. I listen to every one of his podcasts. And of course, his podcast, Empire, inspired my own. So it's no surprise that I would want to meet him. But of course, he was only there for a limited engagement for his podcast. After that, he was gone. So it was not surprising I wasn't able to meet him. But I know somehow, some way in the future, whether I'm in New York, LA, or if he's in Detroit and I'm in Detroit, or in Chicago, or if I get the glorious honor to visit Red Bank, New Jersey, I will have the opportunity to meet the man someday. I consider him one of my biggest influences, so... and he can talk his ass off too. So we all know this. So in someday, some way, I feel I shall have that opportunity. But Andre was one of the goals, and I didn't get to. But at the convention, literally, there was so much there I never got a chance to experience at the con. I didn't even get the chance to go to the Artist Alley, which is a whole different level on the building at the Javits Center, which is where they have the convention every year. The top floor is the dealer area, the panels and everything, and then the second floor is the artist room where independent artists pitch their work. I had not even an opportunity to go there. There were a few famous people who have done, animated work and artwork for YouTubers and seeing things like that, and I never even got a chance to go there. One of them was an animator named Cranbersher, who has done work for PewDiePie and Markiplier. Another one was a girl named Nick Horst, who has done also work for those same YouTubers and others. They were all there, and I never got a chance to meet them either. Another one named, I believe her name is Foolish Kia. She was also there as well. I didn't get a chance to meet her. So there have been times, there are other things there at that convention, but it was so hard and so difficult to see everyone there.
There's just too much.
Yeah, and there were people at the convention who I wanted to meet, but I didn't have time, but I at least saw them from a distance. Like, Yaya Han was there. One of the biggest cosplaying queens out there. She was there, seeing people, but there was no time I could see her. And the line was ridiculously, atrociously bad. It was ridiculous. And the only time you literally would have an opportunity to meet her early is if it was like you were buying one of her products. So if you wanted to meet her like the rest of the people, like normally, you would have to have been to a line that stretched throughout the con. But if you wanted to meet her quicker, you would have to purchase something.
Yeah, buy the pass or something like that.
Yeah. So I think she was one of her books and some of her fabrics that she sells at Joann's. They were selling at the convention, so it was literally stuff like that you would have to do in order to get to see her in advance. But I wasn't really into doing something like that yet. So meeting Kristen Hughley was still great. Like I said, Sonia Oren knew I was there, but she was busy. Leela Vamp was there, but she was busy too. Kristen Hughley was great. Meg Turney was so nice. Jessica, like I said, no matter how much I know, a lot of my cosplay friends, some of my cosplay friends, don't really like Jessica Nigri, and I get that. It's whether it's insecure themselves or it's they feel she is.
From what I've seen, she's pretty cool.
She's down to earth. I will say that for the longest.
Whereas I don't think I like Yaya so much. I've heard about the things that she likes to do.
Yeah, I honestly wasn't that big a Yaya Han fan.
Yeah.
But Jessica, on the other hand, everything you know about Jessica, I will say now that I have experienced and meet her, everything you say about her being so down to earth, it's so true.
Yeah, she's ridiculous in her videos.
Yes,
right?
She's literally everything you see in her videos. It's no act. It's literally her uncut. It is literally uncut from her. The weirdness in the faces, everything about her. It's not a character. The best way to put it, I will put it this way, and I have to copy it from him. And this is another person who inspired me as well as it. Philip DeFranco. He basically stated this about Jessica Negri to another Boogie. He said this to Boogie298 when he had him on his podcast. She will never go out and be as if she's representing her brand, and that is the honest to God truth.
Her.
Yes, it's not. She's not like doing it for her brand. She's her.
Yeah.
It's not like she's doing it for a business. In case it's her. It's like down to earth.
I feel that if I were to meet like Dan Avidan from Ninja Sex Party at Game Grumps, he'd probably be the same way.
I'm hoping so too. I
really hope so, because he seems like a legitimately just like he's just a cool dude. He's just like, man, whatever, guys.
Yeah. I'm hoping so too. I was close to trying to see them live, but they were in another building for their live show at New York Comic Con.
Oh man!
And the tickets were sold out. They were selling them out like crazy.
That's not going to last more than a half hour.
Yeah, so I was like, I wanted to, and I'm like, wait a minute, there's a Grump live show in New York? Like, yeah, for New York Comic Con, they do it every year. It's just, you have to buy the tickets in advance. I'm like, well,
yeah, you got to buy like a year.
You said advance. It's done. There's no way. If you were selling me in advance, they're already gone. There's no way. You're telling me, you're wasting your breath telling me this. So, yeah, like when they came to the Columbus, to the Wendy's, for the whole Wendy's get together.
I completely missed it. And I'm like, nah.
Yeah, I was so pissed about that. I'm like, wait a minute. You're at the Columbus building and I'm not there? What the hell, Aaron?
For me, it's like with your missing out on your one dude that you wanted to see at the Comic-Con. It's like, I feel the same way when I see all these Let's Players. I'm just like, I could have done that.
Oh yeah.
I am that age. I am that type. And it hurts because it's like, I love doing stuff like that.
Yeah.
I love doing what they do.
Yeah.
And it's like, I love being, bringing entertainment to people, because apparently that's what I am. Apparently I'm ridiculously entertaining.
That goes for me too. That's why everybody's like, you should be getting more popular on your YouTubes. I'm like, well, the thing is I kind of need a team to do that, first of all. And second of all, nobody's that enthusiastic around here. So, it's most of the people who want to work with me live further out. That's the problem.
Yeah.
I'm
so isolated from people. I'm just like, oh god, it's at least an hour and a half to Colossal Con and every other convention.
Yeah, exactly. So it's that way when it comes to the people here. When it comes to trying to do video, because there's only one other person I know who she's doing okay with her YouTube, but it's more to the point where she's getting mostly her numbers because of her content outside of YouTube, that people will pay attention to her stuff and that. And that's my friend Kayla, who I've shot with many before. Many people know her as Kayla Tactical, or you might have known her from Scully in Space. I've shot with her, which you can also go to my Jiraiya Media website. You can definitely check out her pages, as well as you can buy the print that I did with her, Batgirl related. She's one of those. She's one of the only examples of a YouTuber who is doing good on some numbers of it. But honestly, if it wasn't for her tactical stuff, she wouldn't even be getting numbers on that case of it. And then for her personal channels, with that stuff. So it makes sense. Female-wise, that makes sense. It's the same thing with girl gamers in some cases. And I'm not saying girl gamers are it's basically the looks that gets their attention. No, sometimes it's what they do in the case of the video, but you draw the attention just gender alone. And I don't want to be the guy with the Gamergate stuff like that. But it's more in the fact of I guarantee you, if I was a female, people would pay more attention. Honestly, it's the truth.
Yeah, it just speaks to the demographic of a social media and the internet in general, because let's face it, Jessica Negri has those qualities to attract the people, but she has the substance to back it up past that.
Yes.
And I know a lot of people who don't have that.
Yes.
I know a lot of people who just use it and then are like shitty human beings. It's like, well, yeah, no, I see that's your one-trick pony.
Yeah. And people, and again, back to Jessica, stuff like that, down home to her in the case of it, that's what I love about her in the case of it. And then Ryan is out on that too, and people don't give Ryan enough credit, honestly. I feel disappointed on the case of it. When I met her, I'll give you the full story on basis on when I met her, because I don't think I even gave it to you, Mark, on that. when I walked up to her, the first thing of all is like she pointed out my shirt because I was wearing a Filthy Casual shirt. Because right across from me is, of course, the Filthy Casual guys at the con. They're always usually near each other, and she's been good friends with Mike and Jay, who own the company, along with their girlfriends, Darshell and Casey, who I'm also good friends with those two as well. She's always good friends with them, and she's happy. Usually I was wearing the shirt and stuff too. She's like, so you know Mike and Jay? I'm like, a little bit, just met them. They love my stuff of it. I love their stuff too, but I was like, I basically told her, I'm like, I've been waiting since I lived in Arizona. I told her, I lived in Mesa for 7 months, was hoping to meet her. The week I went there, you were at Phoenix Comic Con. The week I got there, and the Colossal Con was happening, which is a con in Sandusky that I go to, which I definitely think you should come to, because it's an indoor water park. Her eyes lit up the moment I said that. Nice. And then she's like, Ryan, we might have to go. And that's why I knew it was coming sooner or later when she said Colossal Con. I was like, I know I told her and somebody else did. I told her, I'm like, I followed you since Philip DeFranco. I said, since WonderCon with the Pikachu outfit that started your trend of it, to you winning the cosplay contest for Lollipop Chainsaw with James Gunn and Suda51. The way you reacted when you won the contest, because I voted for you too. You were in California at the time. The fact that you were doing Killer's Dead promo, to beating Philip DeFranco in Super Fight, to all the way up to your relationship with Ryan started off, and BlizzCon and so forth. I'm like, I told her, I'm like, I just want to know if you're really down home. You are, and I'm like, and you're just that bubbly, as amazing as you are, hilarious as you are. I'm like, and then I told her, I said, you might not remember, but I gave you one option on your 3,000 followers subscription anniversary video, and when you did the video where she did basically all this random stuff she said she got from the comments, like there's one where she's in a swimsuit in a kiddie pool in a swimsuit, and she's pouring ice cream and sprinkles and syrup all over her, and I was like, and I pointed a picture of her Sunday bum day with that, and she's like, I need to market that. And then I showed her and Ryan the picture of Kitty Sparkles, his alter ego, where she does makeup, and gave him a kitty ears, and now he's using that. I'm like, see, now you're using Kitty Sparkles to the point he's your mascot. And I told her, I said, I might have to steal Ryan from him. And then it came to the point where I'm like, I'm slowing down, and I'm like, I opened up telling her, would love to work with her. She's like, sure thing. She's like, you're ever coming back to Arizona? I said, I'm planning on doing so. I'm hoping I will someday. If so, I would love to work with you. I handed her my business card. She's like, I'm definitely going to make sure I keep this. She hands it to Ryan. Ryan puts it in his wallet. Ryan asked for my camera on my neck. I'm like, sure. He's like, I'm going to take a picture with your camera. That's how down to earth Ryan is. He just asked me to shoot with his camera. I didn't even ask for a picture with the camera. He took the picture. So we took the picture. So he took the picture of me and Jessica in her Sith cosplay. And I said, can I take one more picture? And she's like, sure. I said, I need the infamous selfies. So we took 2 troll selfies. The first one I messed up in because I had it on recording video. And she's like, oh, okay. Oh, I'm just like, I can't stop laughing. So I'm trying to stop freaking out. Yeah, I'm freaking out. So then I switch it back to camera, and then we take 2 or 3 pictures with the creep face. And after that, I told her, I'm like, thank you, and I'm shaking Ryan's hand, and I'm like, I'm hoping we'll see each other again. She's like, we definitely will. I definitely would like to work with you. I will check out your stuff and let you know. I said, if you ever need to talk to me, I'll definitely be on Twitter. You'll know where I am on that. I said, just look for the black guy with the cat ears, and she starts giggling. And she starts waving bye to me. And that moment was the best 20, 30 minutes of my life. Like I said, there are a lot of people, celebrities, who just like, they do it year after year, and they're just either they're tired of it, or they're okay with it, or they put on a facade of it. And her and Ryan were not like that. It didn't feel like that. It felt more like, they were like cool people. Like, yeah,
Nerds
I'm
like
famous.
us.
Yes, I'm like, I'm famous, but I don't give a shit. You're looking awesome. Like, there was one moment when I was still in line, she caught somebody, a girl who was a fan of hers, who verbatim copied her entire Umbreon cosplay. You know the the costumes. She did the Umbreon one, which was like an Egyptian, like gypsy type of costume.
Yeah, no, that was pretty.
That was
awesome.
which was one of my favorites. A girl was literally copying her entire costume from top to bottom and was wearing it while she was waiting in line. Jessica saw it and she jumped up and down, pointed to Ryan. She says, "Ryan, tell her to do this pose. Do this pose." And he's like, he's telling her to do it, and she's looking, and she sees her. She's freaking out a little bit, so she's trying to emulate what Jessica does, and it's like, tell her to do what I do. Tell her to do what I do. I want a picture with her when she gets here. I want her to do what I do. And the girl was just squealing in the back, and I'm like, see, that's awesome. When somebody who's like a big cosplayer who's like, oh, they copied my costume. Mostly people like that would be like, oh, imposter. Imitation's a sincere form of flattery or something like that. No, Jessica was happy someone copied her costume. That's how good down home she is.
She gets excited about the actual thing itself.
Yes, and that's what I was like. She was telling her to do what she does in her pictures. That's how cute. That's how adorable it was. So, with someone like Jessica, like I said, it's people like that I don't even want to run business and stuff like that with. Even if I wasn't able to shoot with her, it's people like that you want to build a good friendship with, despite the same.
It's that spark. It's that interaction that makes me love conventions.
Exactly. And
getting out there and connecting with other nerds who love the same stuff you do, and you can talk for hours and entertain each other with all the shit that you guys go through. Mm-hmm. It's like, that's what I love about conventions. Yes. Because you can let yourself be your nerdy self.
Yes.
That you might not necessarily be able to do out in the real world, because not everybody is going to get it.
Yes, yes.
Whereas there's at least somebody. It could be one person, it could be 500, that will be able to get what you are nerding out about, and I love that.
Yeah, exactly. Perfect example in that case of it. I had when I was still having a relationship with my father, he took me to one of my local convention here. There's a gaming convention that happens here in my hometown, and it's a lot of older gamers come to the convention. Sometimes they even dress up. My father saw a man around his age dressed up in Harry Potter costume. He was dressed as Dumbledore. My father found it strange. Me, on the other hand, I'm like, that's the coolest dad award right there for that guy.
Oh, yeah.
It's stuff like that. And it's unfortunate. My father considers himself like in the same nerd credential as me and my brother because he loves comic books and
it's about how you present it. But yeah. For me, I've never really gave a crap about what I look like. In terms of what I'm wearing, in terms of things like that, because it's like, that doesn't matter. That does not determine who you are. Who you are determines what you wear, or what you want to wear, or how you nerd out. And that ultimately is what I love people cherishing, because life's too short to try and be quote-unquote proper.
Exactly. And that's why, in stuff like that, when it comes to conventions, it's just the socialization of stuff like that and bonding with people like that. That's why Con, honestly, as much as I love the experience of New York Comic Con, it was a great con. I would definitely go there again, and as well as other cons that I've gone to, bigger ones and ones that I'll probably go to in the future in the case of it. But when it comes to that con that's close to me in the case of it, Con will be that con. People know me at that con now. People have accepted in the case of the excitement on that con and what I do at that con and the fact of my experience at that con. And, who knows how long I'll be, what I'll impact in that con and later down the line in the future. So when it comes to people I hear people like Negri and my friend Santel or Zombie Bit Me coming to that con because, they're hearing the words about it from word of mouth. That's exciting for me. And I want her to have the experience because I'm like, she's that, she wouldn't have somebody getting paid to walk to say hi to her. She's cool with a lot of people. That's what I'm like, and that's what I said, stuff like that. And I'm hoping more and more people, not to overload it on the fact of over on that case of it, but just to enjoy the experience there on the case of it. And that's why that con will mean a lot more to me than any other con I've gone to. And it's, like I said, that's the one con I try to make sure I go to every year, even if I go to a bigger con afterwards. I try to, like I said, the bigger cons I'll try to go to every 2 to 3 years later down the line. But then it's always, every year, it's mandatory to that con, Colossicon. And our friendship being an example of that. Me and you, Mark, with that. So...
Oh, I love that convention.
Exactly. Like, so that con, like I said...
That's why I'm kind of disappointed that it's been on the upswing, but it hasn't expanded. Because at least in years past... Like I was saying earlier, we were there before they even had the new edition. Mm-hmm. But now with everybody still coming in and there's no spots, it's like they really do need to expand a bit. Yeah. Because, like I said, there's no parking spaces. It's pretty packed. It's pretty hectic. Like you said, there's no real time to do any of the awesome stuff that we had done years before. Yeah. Like hang out and just chill for, the entire night.
Yeah. And that's the only thing... about that con, that if, for those listening, if you go to that con, just be aware of that. And then it's even worse when it comes to, like, finding a hotel reservation at that con, to getting up to traveling there. So try to be aware of that if you ever go to the con. But if you do go to that con and that convention, you will definitely expect to see me and Mark there. We will be there. Mark... From what I've known, you have stated he'll be there for at least 2 days. I will probably be there for the whole weekend, but of course, you will see me there. I will be doing a few shoots there as well for a few people. You can know more about that as well on my Twitter and on my website, JeriMedia.com. Of course, my last shoot there last year, one of my favorite shoots, I also sell the print for that as well, which is my lovely print of Miss Zombie Bit Me with her costume of Lightning from Final Fantasy, which was done by our good friend Miss Sarah of Sci-Fi Candy, who will also be there as well. You can definitely check out her stuff as well, Sci-Fi Candy. That's SCIFIEYE Candy. So check that out. She does a lot of cosplay swimwear, and cosplay lingerie. Definitely check that out. She has had many people from even Jessica Negri to even Hollywolf, another big cosplayer who also hopefully will be working with me in the future as well. I'm trying to get her to come to Colossicon. That would be a big stretch, is to get her. She's good friends with Zombie Bit Me, but the thing about her is she has a bigger mark on her as well, because not only is she a cosplayer, she is a Playboy Playmate, and that's a bigger thing. To me, having a Playboy Playmate / cosplayer in that mark would be an awesome deal.
It was starting to get at attention.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, I have nothing against Playboy itself, because Amelia Talion and Pamela Horton, I would never know who they were if it wasn't for Playboy. And those three girls, I think, changed things when it came to the fact of, there are some girls who understand the geek culture, but they work in Playboy. Yep. At the case of it. And I was so happy when I found out about these three girls. Like, honestly, I'm like, the nerd credential is really good on that case of it. That's why I'm like...
Well, it would be also good to get some of the Suicide Girls and things like that.
Yeah, I mean, eventually... Well, that's easier on the end on the Suicide Girls because of the fact of alternative. That's easier.
Yeah, it's a little bit more within the range.
Exactly. It's just the fact of the material that they put out on their website is a little bit different from, the stuff that Playboy does, where it's more classier, but, theme related. Whereas in Suicide Girls, it's more on the case of, on some cases, it's a little edgier. But that's the point of it. Yeah. But I do have a few Suicide Girls who are interested in shooting with me. I won't say if I will or will not shoot for the website. That is a given. But I will say that there are a few women who have been interested, who have worked for that website or still work for that website, interested in working with me as well. So that is a whole thing up for grabs in the case of it as well. But when it comes to the networking in the case of it, that's why it was easier for me to launch my cosplaying range and my photography at Colossicon, because it was easier in the fact that I know most of the people there and the work they put into it. And I've taken pictures on a normal, as a fan at that convention, to building up my photography to what it is now. And now that I've reached to a point where, I've done some work professionally, it's going to be easy on that case of it. It's just the only thing right now is Colossicon is doing this thing now, for those out there who are photographers interested in getting into Colossicon on the case of it. They're doing this thing now where you have to sign up to be a photographer, listed for the photographer pass, and there's a $70 fee to get the pass, and then you don't get access to extras and special things in like the water park and all. They limit you on one reflector, one light stand, to the fact of no battery packs in the water, and certain species of where it's at. Yeah, so it's a little bit stupid, but it makes sense. But at the same time,
it's because stupid people have done stupid things in the past, and they have to cover everybody's bases.
Of course,
unfortunately,
I know, and it makes a complete understanding. Like last year, I've said this to you, Mark. Last year, Martin Wong was there, and I didn't even know, and I was so mad about that because, like I said, the man is a legend to me because of his amazing work, especially in the cosplay photography work, the detail, the lightning aesthetics, the
composition, the whole line.
Yes, especially the portrait cosplay work. Like, he's done 2 or 3 portrait cosplay work with Jessica on her detailed work of, like, Warcraft costumes and stuff. That's so good. You can see the articulation of the work that Jessica puts into her outfit. You can see in the picture alone. And Martin can pull that out so well. And
you gotta bring it out. And
yeah,
he does a good job at it.
Exactly. And then, like, on the end of, like, with Meg Turney, even outside of her cosplay work, the glamour stuff that she does with him is so amazing. The funny story is I actually knew about Meg a little bit later, right around the time she was just leaving SourceFed. But the weird part is the first time I realized I would have a shot at shooting with her was, I don't know if you heard of this website called Me and My Place.
I don't think I've heard of that one.
Okay. meandmyplace.com is a website. It's basically a website that you would expect it to be like Suicide Girls or something like that. But in reality, it's a website of boudoir. It's a boudoir website.
I'm looking.
It started out as a website for what is it? I'm trying to look for it now. It started out as a segment from Esquire magazine. It started out as a segment from Esquire magazine, and meandmyplace.com. Not me and, me in my place. So it started out as a segment on Esquire magazine for female celebrities to have a bedroom boudoir shoot in their home. Not too risque lingerie, just, nice bedroom attire wear, oversized sweaters and t-shirts and underwears, cutesy stuff. And they're shot in their actual homes, locations that they stay in and live at. And it was a segment piece. And I remember I saw Meg Turney's, Camellia Luddington, the girl who is known for Grey's Anatomy, who also played Lara Croft in Rise of the Tomb Raider and such, and Stacy Keibler from WWE and WCW years. She is one of the 2 people that those are the 3 people that I saw who were on the Esquire magazine.
Oh, nice.
So I found out about that. Then it got so popular it grew into its own website where they show a little bit more riskier stuff with non-known women, just random models in the case of it. Now it's come to that point, but there have been some points where they do pop a few celebrities. Actually, there is one model who actually I'm confirmed to be working with, hopefully soon, that is actually on the website as well. Her name is Annalise. Annalise. I remember her name now. Annalise is one of the women that I'm confirmed working with. She's also on the website, actually. But she's a small-time actress. I've talked to her a few times. Some of my work has been inspired by her. I won't lie about that. I'm actually going to be sending Mark a few of the shots that she's done for the website while I'm broadcasting to you guys. But at the same time, I can confirm working with her. I have confirmed that I will be working with her. She is one of the few models that still talks to me time to time on Twitter and such. But I do know for a fact that I've actually know that it was that website and that segment of Esquire magazine that inspired me to do the photography that I do now, which is bedroom boudoir. And many of you have seen my work. I'm pretty sure you have. In fact, by the time you get this video, you can definitely go to you can check out Sour Magazine's issue 18, volume 1, and you can also pick up the December and October issues of 2006 Expression magazines, and you'll technically check out newer of my work. So definitely do that. Or you can go to my website at drymedia.com, and you can go to my website to purchase those issues as well. But most of the time my bedroom boudoir shots have been inspired by them. It got me into that. And of course, Maxa Magazine was also another part of it that rolled into my work of it. So, imagine in some time down the line in the future, whether it's Colossicon or something else, that I can do a shoot with Jessica Negri on that. But then again, it's going to be hard to do that because she's done a lot of stuff with Ryan, who is not a bad photographer himself. I don't know if you've seen some of Ryan's work.
He's pretty good.
Yeah. So, that's going to be hard to compete with him.
I was just going to say, it's going to be a hard sell, buddy.
Yeah, but, American dream. But
of course.
But for now, just working with Jessica would just be a dream come true in the case of it. So I'm hoping Colossicon this year, your boy comes into that. If not, go to Twitter, let Jessica know, tell her that Yoku wants to work with her. Let her know about that by the time you get this episode. But aside from that, I know for a fact that in that case of it, I haven't had any plans of any other cons aside RTX, which is the next con that I'm considering going to in Austin. And
are you going to try and go to MatsuriCon maybe?
You know what?
It's a little bit smaller, and like we've been saying, that little small feel is kind of nice.
Yeah. It's just, here's the thing. MatsuriCon might be a closer con within the year. That might happen like next year.
Okay.
If anything, because I try to leave out the bigger cons after 2 years. Every other 2 years, I try to go to a big con. So then, New York was last year. So this year is a break. Next year, if MatsuriCon is on the table, that's the second break. And then 2019, I believe it is, I will try to go to a bigger con.
Nice.
That next big con, I'm considering.
You should keep next year open in September, because this year MidoriCon's not happening, but I'm pretty sure they want to come back next year.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying next year. Well, I knew about MatsuriCon not this year. That's why I was like MatsuriCon next year.
No, MidoriCon is what I'm saying.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, it's sad because MidoriCon isn't happening this year, which makes me super, super sad. But they gotta recoup. They gotta get better things for everybody, and so trying to get us the best experience. So.
Yeah. Well,
I understand why. It just really sucks because we love that convention.
Yeah. Well, like I said, those cons I'm not sure about. But I do know after this year and next year, RTX is the next big con I'm considering, and then after that, 2 more years after that, I'm thinking about MomoCon, which is a con that happens in Atlanta, Georgia. And that's only because a lot of the people at William Street Studios, the people behind Adult Swim and Toonami, usually go there every year and give out information about Toonami. And for those on Twitter who know about and follow me from the Twitter world knows, I am one of the former alumni of the Faithful, including the good friends. Shout out to GeekGeek.com and the Toonami Faithful podcast. I am still cool with you guys, of course. So I do know that they usually are the guys who usually have information there. So I usually am, and most of my friends go to that con as well, from people in LA all the way down to Georgia. So there may be a possibility that I'll be going there after 2 more years of that. So I try to at least go to a big con after every 2 years. But if I can make it with the money to MatsuriCon, I will try. The only reason why I don't know is because my future plans, and for those out there who know...
It's pretty far ahead, so...
Yeah, the only thing is August is a maybe, because I can't confirm or deny this, ladies and gentlemen who are listening, but for those out there who know, I am looking at a possibility in August to head back to the West for a little while, between Vegas to LA and back to Arizona for limited engagements.
No, don't go.
I'll be back. You
just came back.
I'll be back. I won't be staying there for 7 months and wasting time. Trust me. But it might happen. I don't know. I cannot confirm or deny this, ladies and gentlemen. But I'm only here and telling you this to her first. But
you better bring me along.
Well, the thing is one of the dudes that I'm hoping to meet there is my boy Dylan, and he's the closest thing to you, my friend. He's my wrestling buddy.
I got competition now. What the hell?
Well, he's only reason why you're top on him is you have years experience on that. You have majority on him through years experience. I only know him for 7 months. This is going on a year now knowing him.
Okay.
So you have that over him. You have longer age experience on that. He only known for 7 months, but we were cool for the 7 months. He went to a concert with me. We sat and hung around watching YouTube videos and wrestling videos. We started playing wrestling. We were playing PlayStation 2 SmackDown, Here Comes the Pain. I haven't played that in years. So we were just talking about wrestling shit all the time. There was one point we wanted to start a channel together. Sort of like Game Grumps. He would have been the Aaron, I would have been the JonTron. Except I don't talk about the left-wing shit that's going on with JonTron right now.
I was just going to say, except you're not going to...
Yeah, I am not going to kill my career like that, ladies and gentlemen. I have a beautiful voice and can be the rest of them like John. Only thing is I'm not going to talk stupid out about it like that. I'm going to just spread it with left-wing shit and bring facts about it when it comes to that. No politics, religion will be talked about on this show, too. Let me make a mention about that. Because, like I said before, I don't like to start wars here. Not unless it comes to the point people want to start shit with me. So,
people are interested in it. I have no qualm saying it. It might be popular, but...
No. That's the one thing everybody's like, so you're going to talk about politics and shit? I'm like, there are tons of other YouTubers and podcasters who can talk about this shit. Fuck no!
Yeah, for me, it's like, I'm not going to be like, oh, this is my opinion, that's it. No, it's like, I'm going to gather the information, and if it changes, if the facts change, my view on it, so be it.
Yeah, but
I don't get why people get so wrapped up in themselves that they're just like, I can't entertain any other ideas but my own.
Yeah.
My small little world.
Yeah, but when you know the things that you're saying is going to be controversial to your career in the case of it, that's when you're being fucking stupid.
Yeah.
Ergo,
exactly.
Ergo John. Like I said, when I listened to the podcast, there's a podcast, ladies and gentlemen, of course you probably know about the infamous podcast he did with YouTuber Destiny, that whole shit, and the last thing he says, R.I.P. my career. Yeah, you're not shitting yourself, Jafari. And I'm pretty sure now...
I heard about it, I didn't actually hear it, so
trust me.
I want to avoid that bomb.
Yeah, it's fucking ridiculous. I don't think I need to go any further about that. The fact of his so-called information about that, and I'm like, this is coming from an Israeli, a guy who has Israeli descent. Okay, John, yeah, you weren't lying about RIP your career. The fact that even your own Reddit and your own Discord pages are mocking your ass now, That's funny. When literally the highest post on Reddit, his Reddit page, is literally a picture of a bubble, and the caption says, "I found where JonTron is at." And it's a picture of a bubble from SpongeBob SquarePants, and I'm like, yeah, ladies and gentlemen, it's over for John Jafari. Yeah, I'm like, he's going to have to go back and beg Aaron to work again if he's going to get his career back.
Oh, he's not going to take it back.
Yeah, that's what I said. Like, it's kind of good now that Aaron, like I said, and what's worse is, like, before all this shit, I was like, I still can't hate him. I can't. And then he says this, and I'm just like...
It's like, he had good times. That's the thing, is that he had good moments. He had a lot of good things. He seemed like a good dude, and then he starts ranting and raving. It's like, no.
Ever since the election, this election has brought out the ugly in many people. Yeah. And in the case with him, I'm like, to the point your coworker, Peanut Butter Gamer, has been distorting you now. Like, I haven't heard anything from his peers over at Normal Boots. I haven't heard anything from Gerard or Pro Jared or Satchbags or Continue. I haven't heard anything from them guys because I don't want to say anything because the note that they say that they're still cool.
You didn't hear anything from Polaris either, did you?
No. Or, no. Polaris, the only person who said, I'm friends with John, but I don't agree with everything he says, is Boogie298. And he literally stated about it. And it's so bad that at this point, like, even, like, Philip DeFranco's like, I can't even talk about this whole situation that's going on this whole week. I need a break. I'm having a burnout. Which I don't blame Philip DeFranco. I'm like, stuff like that. But, yeah.
A lot of shit's going down, like, especially with PewDiePie, too. It's like, then, guys, just...
And it's stuff like that.
Stupid, stop going for shock value. It will not end
I feel, like, honestly, I feel more guilty for Felix than John. Felix wasn't trying to do that stuff like...
I've heard his friends talk about how he didn't really mean it and everything like that, and that he is actually a good person.
Yeah.
Now, for me personally, I think a lot of people tend to take one instance and take it way too far.
Yeah.
Like, hey, somebody made a mistake. Yeah, I get that. Mm-hmm. It was a shitty mistake, and it sucks. But at the same time, you don't have to lynch a person just because they don't, they rubbed you the wrong way.
Yeah. And that's
where I tend to stay out of that a little bit because, like I said, I try not to make assumptions, especially if it's like, if he was pissed off, if he was sick, if he just wasn't thinking that day, a mistake happens.
Yeah.
But past the point, you got to really ask yourself, be like, well, how much is an accident? How much is not?
Yeah. And
for me, I don't know the guy personally, so I can't really tell you.
And honestly, I wasn't a fan of Felix around the time of it, but I feel bad of the case of the setup that happened with him. And it seems like now news media is making it fucking bad about that point where I'm just like...
did you see the one where they literally cherry-picked all the things that were bad?
From the Wired or the Wall Street Journal? Because I read both of them.
Yes, all of them.
Both of them, yeah.
Like,
I feel bad. Wired,
I'm like, literally cherry-picked it, and it's like, you're going to show him literally making fun of Nazis and try and spin it to where, he's pro-Nazi. It's like, you guys are ridiculous. Like, stop.
Yeah. And then,
stop with the false everything.
Yeah. Exactly. And then, like, when it came to, like I said, Wired, I was disappointed in because I was like, Wired should have known better. You're looking like fucking...
They're usually a lot more respectable.
Wired, you're looking like Gawker. You see what happened to Gawker?
Oh, Jesus, Gawker.
You're going to be like Gawker with this shit. That's exactly what you're going to be like.
Dip your foot in that garbage, you're going to get sucked in.
Yeah, I was just saying the same. I was like, oh my god, Wired is turning into Gawker. Why are you fucking doing this? I watched Game Over Greggy's show about that whole shit when Colin and Greg was doing that same shit. I was like, this is exactly why everybody's happy Gawker was gone. Like, fucking goodbye. Nothing but stupid ass students writing this shit. I'm like, if you want some crazy shit, look at your goddamn college website. Don't go to them. It's fucking ridiculous. So, yeah, like, Felix shit was bad. I feel bad for that. And the shit that went on to the point where, like, his show got canceled, His management was gone.
Yeah, I feel bad about the whole thing.
But John, I'm like, oh, you just digging yourself a grave, and you know you're digging yourself a grave.
Well, it's one thing to be like, oops, this was a bad episode that people don't like. Okay, I won't do it again. Whereas with Tim, he keeps just digging himself deeper.
Yeah.
With every single thing.
Yeah.
He keeps digging himself deeper. It's like, oh God, what? No. Just stop.
Jim
Stop,
Sterling.
please, stop.
You look at Jim Sterling's tweet about his comments on the podcast when he was talking with Destiny. Jim Sterling, he literally tweeted, "Oh God, oh my God, John, what the fuck are you doing? What the fuck, John?
Stop talking."
He literally, he's literally saying that on the tweet. I started cracking up when I saw that. I'm like, Jim Sterling who has been around for eras on the YouTube world, is telling you to shut the fuck up, John. Then you should do it. What are you doing? I just couldn't help but start laughing about that. I'm like, oh my God, and that's why I was like, I was done. I was done with it. But within that whole situation, like, that was one of the reasons why, another reason why, it's a love or hate with me in YouTube right now. Because I'm like, with content stuff like that, I could go so far and say anything and express my thoughts about something about that, but it will just twist into something.
Well, exactly. That's the biggest thing that I hate about a lot of the social media and, a lot of the internet and news places is that everybody tends to take it out of context in order to feed their own press. And it's like, you guys, this is why, for me personally, I don't know if anybody's known, but I graduated with a history degree. And one of the biggest things that I wish a lot of people would do, and that is a major part of the history degree, is that you need to research. Everybody needs to start researching properly. Mm-hmm. And you know what that means? That means taking the information that you find and forming your opinion around it, instead of finding your opinion and forming the facts around it. And a lot of people tend to do it the wrong way. And they need to find out, okay, here's a bit of information. Who said it? What's their spin? What was the context? Because context seems to be the one thing that nobody wants to keep. No. I could say a certain thing to one of my friends, and they would not get offended because it's either an inside joke, or they don't care, or what have you. And whereas another person is going to get upset for that person because they are outside looking in from that context. And that's what pisses me off, is people think they know the context better than the people involved. It's like, no, you need to look at it objectively and be like, okay, is that person getting upset because of what they said? No? Good. Move on.
Exactly.
A lot of people want to get upset for other people. It's like, deal with your own business first. Deal with your own business first, and then move on with that.
Yes. I'm like, if you need to put on that subject of the content about that, do it somewhere else.
Of what?
So, but yeah.
Of what?
Huh?
I didn't hear what you said.
No, I was saying, when it comes to, certain content like that, the research, when you were saying about that part, that I completely agree with you with. Because it's like, because I can go on and on about people with that shit, and with that. So, but yeah, it's ridiculous on the end of it. And that's why it's like, that's why I when it comes to politics and religion, I've always stated that to people in the first. I'm like, don't bring up politics and religions to me.
Right.
Right,
because that's not what we're about. That's not what we're trying to entertain or inform people about. It's completely off in left field, and we don't really need to get involved in that unless it has something to do with the rest of what we're trying to say. Example, JonTron. Perfect example. Yeah,
like in this case, when it comes to John's situation, I don't feel too bad for him, but at the same point of it, I'm just like, well, I hardly knew you. As I said, the first time I knew that something was wrong with the case of it was, like I said, it was one of my favorite streamers, Renee. She basically stated, like, well, I can't watch John's videos no more. And then, like I said, Peanut Butter Gamer, somebody's like said, what about, isn't he your friend, Peanut Butter Gamer, about him? And Peanut Butter Gamer's like, he's not my friend. And I'm like, but you work together. How can you say that? You work together. You've done, seriously. You've done videos in the past with him. Ugh. So
how did you not know before this?
Yeah, that's what I'm like. That's what I said. I'm like, and you didn't know anything about this?
Yeah, they're usually a little bit of warning signs. I think a lot of people don't want to look at the truth if it challenges their worldview, or B, their stability.
Yeah.
Because if it's a cash cow and they're living off of it, they don't want to look at it.
And I mean, I've had friends who are unfortunately on the left within that case of it, but they still respect me as a person.
Right.
I've had people in that way. So don't think, ladies and gentlemen, I'm against all left wings in the case of that. I have a lot of people who are in that same events about that. I'm friends with a girl who hated everything that Obama stood for when he was in office, who ranted about it, much about it. But she didn't rant to me about it. She just ranted to others about it and ran about it online in her cases of it. I didn't like seeing it on my news feed, but it's her point and a choice about it. So long as she didn't come to me about it, and to the point about, me that relates to it. No.
Like anything, you don't force it on other people.
Exactly.
That's you have your own thing, that's great.
Yes.
If it comes down to it and it affects you and your friends, sure, you can discuss it, do it, whatever.
Yeah.
But unless it comes up like that, just don't push it on people. Don't push it on people. Exactly. It's a lot like anything else, religion, etc., what have you.
Yeah, and that's why I tell people, whenever I talk about religion and politics, I know it's going to come to the point where either it's going to be a debate or a heated argument, because one, you're not going to change my mind on anything you tell me on the case of convincing about it, and two, I'm not going to change your mind about anything that I can try to convince you in some cases about it. There are people
it defeats the whole purpose of debating or discussing. It's like, entertain the ideas, but you don't have to accept them. Yeah. Where you gotta, at least have a not brick wall to talk to, and that's the problem. Is everybody brick walls?
Brick walls, exactly.
They don't want to hear anything else, even if it makes sense, even if it's logical, and even if it has evidence.
Proper metaphor. I'm like the brick wall. I'm like, that's exactly what I'm thinking.
Yeah, because it's like you can't move it. You can't elicit anything other than it's going to be what it's going to be, no matter what.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And you can't talk to people like that, because they won't relent any points.
Yeah. So, but yeah, in the cases of that, it's just like I said, bearing on the course when it comes to to people like John and such, and then like Felix, hopefully he'll have a comeback in some cases that things will fix on his end of it. But when it comes to John, like I said, in that case of it, yeah. So it's and that's like I said, it's reasons why I like that. Like I like my limits on things of YouTube, and why I try to keep things on my opinion in the case of it. It's because it's like I told my mother today on the fact that I told her, like, when it comes to certain things that I talk about of my disability, which I'm very strong talked about. There may be times, ladies and gentlemen, you'll know about my disabilities, and I discuss about things of that nature, which will be the only thing that I'll discuss about when it comes to some relations of that. It will definitely come to the point where you will know my opinions about that, but I will bring that on the case of it, and I understand if some people feel disagreement about that. I've had heated debates with many people about the fact of, my one situation I will state about this. I don't feel that when it comes to I don't agree with people on the case of vaccinations with concerns of being one of the things. Flu vaccinations can be one of the exceptions of symptoms of autism. I can go a tangent about that, but I will leave that for another topic of another time, because again, I want to talk. I want to make sure people out there at home know that people like me and Mark on this case of it, when we're both on the same page of things like that, there have been times we both have disagreed on many things, but
everybody's different. That's the thing, is that you can't just immediately attack somebody for being different. Because that goes against exactly everything that people try and say. Be like, they're attacking me, so I should attack them. It's like, no, just stop the cycle.
And it can even go to the point of small little things. Case in point, Mark knows I am not a fan of Attack on Titan.
Yep.
Yeah. You talk about anybody talks about Attack on Titan, to me, I don't find it anything entertaining. This new season, everybody talking about the new season, I am like, yawn. I really don't give a shit. A lot of people hate me because of the fact I don't like Attack on Titan. I'm like,
no, it's like, okay, it's your personal interest.
Yeah.
For me, it's like, I think people take it a little too personally when people don't like a thing that you like, and it's like, no, it's just, it doesn't have to be that way. You can have different interests. It's okay to be different.
Yes.
We need to stop dividing it and start enriching it and be like, no, this is why you need to celebrate being different.
Yeah.
Because, if everybody liked the same thing, things would be boring.
Yeah. And there's some people who are like telling me that Sci-Fi Channel is a lot better than what it used to be, and I'm just like, not when I was growing up. In the case of it,
yeah, no, Sci-Fi Channel.
I know, right? Like, I tried watching.
It used to be good, and then.
I've told many people this, and many people don't remember about this, but back in the days, like early '90s, Sci-Fi. If it wasn't for Sci-Fi Channel, my love of anime would not be existent of today. I was introduced to a lot of anime during Sci-Fi summer blockbusters and times. They did this big blockbusters movie summer during the early '90s.
Yeah, dude, I remember that. Oh my god, that's been ages.
Yes,
holy crap.
Yes. That was my introduction to it. The Fatal Fury movies, Iria, Zerum the animation.
Didn't they have, what was it, Express 9999?
Yes. Space Galaxy Express 9999, yes. 8-Man After. Some of the Macross movies, I believe, were on there.
Oh, wow.
There's an anime I'm looking for currently now. It's still it's in the grasp of my fingers. I'm still looking for it. I only know one vendor has owned it, but I have not been able to obtain it. And it's an anime called Green Legend Ran. And some of the executives, the studio owners of Tenchi Muyo, one of my favorite animes, ladies and gentlemen, created this miniseries, and that's the last element that I'm looking for. I just found out, though, that actually, I don't think you know about this, Mark. Are you familiar with a company called Discotech Media?
That sounds familiar.
Yeah. My boy, Jose Argumento, shout out to Jose, he actually does a little bit of work for them. He just informed me that they will be re-releasing 8-Man After. 8-Man After was never available on DVD and Blu-ray. And it will be released for the first time ever on DVD and Blu-ray from Discotech Media. I believe it will be available. I believe they will be really releasing it. It's very rare. You can still find used copies of the Perfect Collection on like online stores and stuff like that, like Best Buy or Amazon. But I believe Discotech Media now owns it, and I believe they are re-releasing it. And that shocks the hell out of me because it's really hard to find in print. So if it is being re-released, I'm definitely going to look for a copy of that, because that was one of the first early animes that I had watched a while back.
I have such a list of things that I still need to see.
Yeah.
I'm terrible at trying to look at new stuff. I still need to watch JoJo's Adventure.
Yeah. Discotech Media. Yep, they are re-releasing 8-Man After. Which is awesome. They're also re-releasing a few of the Lupin movies as well. I believe also there's a few other animes but yeah, the 8-Man After is what I'm looking forward to, because a company called Streamline Pictures, I believe, released the anime, and they went out of business. So yeah, I found out about this, I believe, back in 2016, and they also will be they also released Magic Knight Ray Earth, along with Shogun: The Time of Trainer, the Lupin movies Part 2.
Oh yeah.
Tekkoman, Gun Frontier, Space Adventure Cobra. Let's see. Kyosogiga, which is a new little series. Yeah, a few others. But yeah, I'm super happy about the fact that 8 Man After is one of the few that's released from them. So yeah,
Cool
thank God for Discotheque Media. But yeah, with that being said,
did you ever get a hold of that that cartridge for the Tenchi game?
Oh yeah, I still have not been able to get it. I really want to.
I saw it and then it was just like it was already gone. I was just like, no.
Yeah. There, for those who don't know at home, there's somebody who has on eBay a cartridge, redeveloped cartridge of the SNES game of the Tenchi Muyo RPG.
That was the original, not in universe, right?
Yeah, the original, the original of the OVA. Yeah, the original OVA. He also at one point have recreations of it, but he was selling used copies of the Funicom version, but he was also redeveloping. He had limited copies of the redeveloped copies of the cartridge, and I have been trying to acquire it for a long time, but unfortunately, I was not able to get it in time. So,
you and me both.
Yeah, I know, man. I know. I'm heartbroken about that. I'm still looking online to see if somehow I will be able to acquire a used copy from someone or somehow. If they're cleaning out their closet or something like that. So
yeah. Just keep an eye out.
I know, man. I know. This guy knows about me and Tenchi. So, but yeah, I do know the last thing I do need to acquire of Tenchi is I will be hopefully acquiring War Gemini. Only reason why I haven't been able to get it is because I'm so busy with everything else of my collection, from Kevin Smith to a few musicals that I own. So I've been trying to go outside of the territory of anime for the moment until I come back to it. The last thing I believe I've acquired is another addition to my my Batman movie collection, and that was the Frank Miller Year One comic with the Blu-ray and DVD embodied in the book, which is this thing DC's been doing, where they give you a copy of a book and they give you the anime adaptation along with the digital and Blu-ray and DVD copies of the movie as well, of the adaptation, which is not bad at all, because I actually was hoping to get copies of the movie when I purchased the Game of the Year edition of Arkham City, but I didn't get it because it was a used copy. Because early used copies of the Game of the Year edition come with a digital copy of the movie, but since I got a used copy of the digital of the game, I wasn't able to acquire a digital copy of the movie. So now I bought the book, but I have a DVD and the Blu-ray copies of the movie based on the books as well. So that was the last thing I've acquired of it. So once I'm finished on that end of it, then I'll be back on the anime end of it. And then my brother got me into back into Brave and the Bold, so I have to acquire all the seasons for that series, because I definitely reconsidered on that series, because that, I honestly, ladies and gentlemen, I can go on a tangent, and I probably did the first time I did a podcast, go on a tangent about the fact that Brave and the Bold was one of the Batman series I really didn't watch much because I thought it was too cheesy, but then I realized a lot of nostalgic callbacks in that series was actually on those shows. So now I reconsidered it. So, but yeah, that was one. The Tenchi Funicom game from the SNES was the one that got away. But
it was definitely the one that got away.
So I'm hoping sometime in the future, or I can talk to the guys at Tenchi Forum, since they've officially shut down. They've ended their forum now. I could talk to one of them and find out something about that, because from time to time I do talk to my friends from the podcast, which include Mr. Pie. So, but yeah, When it comes to Tenchi, I can always talk to them on that case about it. But aside from that, I think that's going to be it for today. We went through a lot of tangent longer than I did, so because we pretty much cleared out everything in the case of it from the what the basics of the podcast is to giving ladies and gentlemen a taste of the discussions we can just randomly talk about in the case.
Oh yeah, talking stuff for days.
So yeah, before we end this little ditty of our show today, did you have any last minute words you wanted to bring up, Mark?
Nah, just tune into the next one, and hopefully I'll be able to see you guys at the next convention I'm at.
Okay. Before I end this on the note of it, a few announcements for you guys out there, of course, who are listening. Make sure if you are a rising model or cosplayer who are interested in working with me and you're in the Toledo, Ohio area, make sure you check me out on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Yokumasaki, YOKUMASAKI, or you can just follow me on there and just see my shenanigans.
Shenanigans.
Photo shenanigans in some cases. You can check me out on there, or you can also go to jiraimedia.com, check out my work there. For those out there interested in doing work with me, or interested in seeing my work. Also, make sure you subscribe to my Twitter, subscribe to my YouTube page, which you can go to youtube.com/yokumasaki, which this podcast will also be aired on in case you miss the episode. You also, hopefully in the coming future, we will be also available on all digital outlets, including iTunes and Google Play and what have you. That will be in the process as well. Also, ladies and gentlemen, be sure to check out my Twitch channel, Twitch TV/Yokumasaki. I am going to be streaming on a frequently basis there, at least once or twice a week. I will be streaming on there some Overwatch goodness. You can check me out on there for some Overwatch goodness and some random streaming as well. Up to 39 followers and glowing. Also, I will be streaming again by the time you get this episode. Hopefully, I will be streaming again another beta episode of Paladins, the new game from High Rec Software. I also will be giving away a free beta key for the PlayStation 4 edition of Paladins for the luckiest 50th follower on my Twitch channel. So make sure you follow me on Twitch there, and you might win that free beta key. The beta key will be free for now, and it will be between this month and April that I will still have the beta key available for one lucky fan. Also, make sure you go to my sponsored company, Catalyst Mints, catalystmints.com. That's the same mints that T-Pain even adores. Catalyst Mints, which gives you more active energy, more freshness, less sugar. You can go to catalystmints.com, or you can go to my website, link through my page, and check out catalystmints.com. Of course, proceeds from Catalyst Mints will go to this podcast as well as my streaming channel on Twitch. Also, as for conventions coming up, Animarathon may be a possibility. I believe March 31st at the BGSU Bowling Green State University campus. I hopefully will be attending there. If so, I will let you guys know, of course, as always. I will be there for a limited engagement. No shooting will be there happening, but I'll be there just frequently as a guest. So if you see me, say hi, take a picture, let me know how you think of the podcast and all my streaming of that. Colossacon, however, which will be in June of this year, as always, and we'll be there at the Kalahari Water Park Resort and Hotel Resorts in Sandusky, Ohio. You will catch me and my boy Mark there. If things go well with this podcast, I might be even considering doing an episode live at Colossacon. That'd be awesome. If we can get that happening, guys, we still got a few months to go. Otherwise, we can always do an aftermath after Colossacon. Don't worry. I will also hopefully doing a vlog as well at Colossacon too if the podcast doesn't come through. So don't worry, guys. We have all this time to get that prepared. But make sure you tell your friends and such of it. I might even see if I can get a guest or two from the convention. Aside from that, but me and Mark will definitely be there. So if you like our podcast, let us know about it as well. Also, make sure you go to my other pages, including my shop, which I'll have some of my merch, as well as some of the lovely prints of ladies that I have shot throughout the years, including Zombie Bit Me, Shay Marie, my friend Liddy, and of course Scully in Space as well. You can go to my store located at drymedia.com. Check it out. Get a few 11 by 15 signed by the lovely ladies there. I will be having more as well too. Pre-orders are still available. If you have not gotten that yet, my good friend Marissa, I will have a new print for her soon. Also, Sour Magazine issue 18 volume 1 is available online now. You can definitely go online to there. You can go to Sour Magazine on Facebook. Check them out there and order your copy. I am located in the issue. I believe I am on pages 77 and the last 2. Shout outs to Morgan Jean and Ariel Barchow, who are the lovely ladies that I have shot within those issues. Definitely check those out. At least $23, I think, for the physical copies, or $7 for a digital copy as well. If you buy the issues and you catch me at Colossicon or any other conventions, feel free to say hi and ask for me to sign them. I have no problem signing them if you want to. As well, I will be hopefully doing another submission soon. Also, you can go to Dry Media, my Dry website, to order my alumnus issue, which issue 1 is still available. I still have a few copies left. I'm thinking about also giving away a copy signed by yours truly in the future. That might be coming soon, and I may be still doing issue 2. I was supposed to do issue 2 last year in the summer, but it never came out. I may still put out that second issue, so we'll see how that goes. Also, in the future, a few things that might be happening future on this podcast. We will be having some guests on the show once we get a clear state name of who we are and a state of where we're going to shoot our podcast and record in some cases.
Consistency.
Consistency. Once we get the consistency in this podcast ball rolling, we will definitely have guests on the show. We're looking at bigger names. Don't worry. I have the networking of making that happen from hopefully cosplayers, models, a few of my friends in the music world, and so on and so forth. We will be on the ball rolling of getting that soon. So trust me, it's in the process, coming soon. Aside from that, I could
even get some DJs on here if you need.
Yeah, don't worry, we're definitely going to have that happen. Like I said, it won't just be me and Mark here just doing all the chatterboxing. Believe me, because like I said, we're getting this ball rolling. I'm making sure that this podcast goes off better on the right foot compared to what we did before. Because, like I said before, the ill-fated red and black cat show was my test run to see how I can do when it comes to the world of podcast. And when it comes to the Yoku Masaki show, we're going to make sure this goes off going on the right foot. So, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, that is it for today's episode. I am the cat-eared extraordinaire, my boy Mark on the other end. Thank you guys for listening so much. Hopefully we will be back on another episode soon. Hopefully we'll try to make it at least once a week. If not, you will catch us when you know when you'll catch us. Believe me, we will have a schedule soon. But till then, ladies and gentlemen, we hope you have a good night. And as always, later days.